Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Tuesday night, January the 20th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Hope you are all doing well, getting used to my Tuesday nights without bowling, as I recover from my tennis elbow. But I still have my church hour, so I will do this. Probably go for anywhere between about 45 minutes to an hour tonight. We'll see how the mood is in the chat. Want to talk about three things: my experience at the game yesterday, want to talk about the Kefir Sherwood trade, and I want to talk about Adam Foote and his comments about his veteran players, basically putting them on notice, putting them on blast, calling them out, whatever you want to call it, and then leave plenty of time for all of you. Always. So thank you for being here. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, franchise members, thanks for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. No matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond. Hold on a sec. In the city, lower mainland, province, country, continent, or around the world. Thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be watching anyone else, doing anything else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, know how much I always appreciate you, know how much I never, ever take you for granted. So this is how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel, get active in the chat section, get notified on my videos. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that Canucks played hard yesterday, like the fact that Vander Kane played a good game, but like the fact that they lost, ultimately, if that's what you want. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. So people that are here today, thank you. I see in my YouTube back end, there's Carol, there's Coach Rob, there's Dino, and Mother Man, Skytrain Alfred, Hawks MMA, there's Fangirl, there's Hugo, there's Michael, there's Shannon, there's Irwin, and there's Irvin, among others. And I see, Darren in the chat as well. So welcome everyone. Welcome to all of you that's here tonight. Want to talk about a few things, and then I'll certainly leave a lot of time for your questions and your answers. No, your questions, hopefully my answers. So I was at the game yesterday. I was supposed to go to the game with Andrew Chang. It was supposed to be his legend game. But even before I get to that, let's get to Carol. The legendary Carol Bovenlander, who gifts a monthly membership message. So let's give some love to legendary Carol Bovenlander for the franchise membership gift, and it goes to Rosie, Canucks man. So welcome, Rosie, to franchise membership, and thank you to legendary Carol Bovenlander. So I was at the game yesterday, and I was supposed to go with Andrew Chang, but he got on a ferry very early this morning. So he gave his legend game to a legend in name for sure, Justin Credible. So I got to go to the game with Justin. We had a great time. Just catching up, talking about life. And we saw a lot of people. Before the game, we saw Selena. Selena was working hard at Rogers Arena. We saw Rosie at the game. We saw Sarah and Abby, who Rosie sits with. Then during the first intermission, we got to see Skytrain Alfred came up, and we got to chat with him. We saw we saw Andrew there, not Andrew Chang, a different Andrew. If Andrew Chang was there, then that would be weird because he gave his ticket to Justin. And then we also saw Witten from Canucks Uncensored. We got to see Witten during the second intermission just by fluke, just happened to see each other. And it was kind of cool. My experience yesterday, we sat in my 316 seats for the first period. And then a parent of St. Paul's offered a pair of tickets to the teachers, but no one could go and no one wanted to go. So by the time no one claimed them, Gail just sent them to me. So Justin and I sat for the second and third period. We sat 7 rows behind the goaltender, like right behind the goaltender. So for the second period, it was behind Kevin Lankinen, and for the third period, it was behind Sorokin. So really, really good seats. So first period, we were up in section 316, and the second and third period, we went down and sat behind the net, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So it was nice to see everyone at the game. And you guys, for those of you that watch Canucks After Dark, you heard me break it down with Parker. And I didn't do my own show last night because I had to get home from my office. But Canucks were really good in the first period, then took a couple untimely penalties in the second period. Evander Kane had a really good game. The fourth line of Hoglander, Sasson, and Carlson had a really good game. And Matthew Schaefer had a really good game. He is a pleasure to watch live. I was so impressed by him. And overall, I thought the Canucks, the effort was there. Their execution wasn't, especially on defense, and that's why they keep losing games. And they end up losing their 11th straight game. I believe it ties a franchise record, a losing streak. Refresh me, guys, if it ties a franchise record or if it broke it. Regardless, it's not a good record that you want to be a part of, and especially if you're a coach or player of this team, which I'll get to in a second. But the game itself was relatively entertaining, considering where the Canucks are in the standings, considering that the Islanders did not have Bo Horvat, but they did have some good players like Schaefer, like Duclair, like Jonathan Drouin, and others. So overall, entertaining game. Not a great result if you want the Canucks to win, but a great result if you don't want the Canucks to win. Skytrain Yrvin with the donation. So let's give some love to Skytrain Yrvin for the $2 donation. He says, with those other ticks, is that a seat upgrade? I think so. The seats were a little bit better. I'm sure they're a lot more expensive. But yeah, I enjoyed sitting in the lower bowl for more than half the game. So let's give some love to Skytrain Yrvin for the $2 donation. Thank you very, very much. Windy City Hockey's here. Nick's here, which is great. Nice to see you. I ended up getting home from Taves' return to Chicago at like 2:45. It was definitely the loudest I've heard the United Center in like 3 years, which has been Taves' last game as a Blackhawk. That's pretty cool. I'm really, really, really glad that you got to experience that. And I heard it was a very, 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 very long, and well-deserved ovation. That's cool. That's cool that you were there. That's not cool that you got home at 3 a.m., but I know you're used to it. You're obviously a night owl for sure. And what dedication to drive 4 hours each way. Imagine someone driving home 4 hours after watching the Canucks. Remember, the Canucks have only won 4 times in this, at home this season. So imagine going home upset or angry or sad all but 4 times this season. So basically, the Canucks have won one game for every hour that Nick has to drive after watching a Chicago game. That is absolutely crazy. Longest losing streak in regulation is 10. Longest winless streak, overtime included, is 13. At the end of the game for Islanders, they lost 8 in a row in regulation and 11 in a row including. Gotcha. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, so I want to talk a bit about the Sherwood trade. I want to talk a bit about Adam Foote. Then we'll do my mid-show sponsor read, and then I'll get to all of your questions and comments. So, I did a quick video when the Sherwood trade broke on Monday morning, and Park and I talked about it during the Canucks After Dark last night. And then I did not have my own show last night, but we already know the details. Defenseman Cole Clayton awesome name, best last name in the league, and then a 2026 second round pick and a 2027 second round pick. As Parker explained, there's some metrics out there where you can actually measure the pick value. And he says that the two seconds, one in each of the next 2 years, adds up to basically a 32nd pick in the first round. So basically a late first round pick. So you could say the Canucks got a low first round pick for Sherwood, or you can say that they got 2 seconds. Regardless, I think it was clear that the desired return they weren't going to get, and that would be a first round pick plus a prospect. So they end up getting 2 second round picks plus, what do you call him, prospect or not? He's like 25 or 26 years old, probably never going to make it to the NHL as a regular, but nothing with having depth. Nothing wrong with having depth in Abbotsford, because we know that team has been decimated as well. Now, some would say that was a good thing that the Canucks took on this defenseman named Cole Clayton, because maybe by doing so, that helped them get a tiny bit more from San Jose. So whether that more would be a second and a third, or a second and a fourth, and now it becomes a second and second because they take on that extra contract. Regardless, the Canucks get 3 assets for Kefir Sherwood. No surprise that they traded Kefir Sherwood, given that Kefir Sherwood was going to become an unrestricted free agent on July the 1st. And rumors are that he wanted at least 5 years at least $5 million. Rumors has it the Canucks offered about 4 years at about $4 million. And, that's simply too big of a gap for Sherwood, who's trying to hit a home run, probably his last and his biggest contract of his career. So you can't fault him. And we all know the amazing things he did last year, setting the record for most hits in an NHL season. This year was our leading goal scorer at 17 goals in just under 40 games. So obviously a very, very good, a good player for us. And one of those grit guys, heart and soul, however you want to say it, drags the team in the fight with them. He was very classy. He was saying all the right things with his exit interview, understands it's a business, understands that he's never going to close the door, understands that the Canucks feel that they're getting better with this trade. Like, that's a very humble thing to say. And he didn't have to go do this, but he didn't have to say this, but we know we're going to see him 4 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year now in a Sharks uniform. We don't even know if he's actually going to extend with the Sharks, because there was no sign and trade. There was no contract extension announcement. I guess they're going to see how he does. Now with San Jose, they got a young lineup with guys like Celebrini and Smith and Eklund and all their young players. So having some veteran muscle or grit, he's not the most muscular guy, but with grit, there's nothing wrong with that. I think, especially as they push for a playoff spot, this move made sense for them and not giving up anything off of their current roster. Now, the Canucks play the Sharks. We host San Jose a week from today on Tuesday, but Sherwood will not be ready for that game because he was out with an upper body injury. It's rumored to be his right hand or right arm at least. And then he said he's not even sure if he's going to play before the Olympics, because if he sits out the last 3 weeks before the Olympics, then with the 3-week Olympic break, that's a 6-week break he has then, in essence, to rehab his arm, come back 100% or close to it, and then he still has, he's still 2 weeks ahead of the trade deadline, so he at least jumped the gun that way and can build chemistry with his teammates as the Sharks make a run for a playoff spot. So I do believe this is one of those cases where it's a win-win. The Sharks get better for immediately, and then the Canucks get better for the future, knowing that they were not going to extend Kefir Sherwood. So there we go. Some thoughts about the trade, and would love to get your thoughts in a couple of minutes for sure. By the way, I'm going to talk about tickets. I have tickets available for both the Capitals and Devils games. So the next 2 games, getting a lot of inquiries about. Actually, give me 1 sec. Someone just asked me about the tickets right now. Let me just do this real quick. So actually, let's do this. Put in the chat, and I'll do this first. Give me your first reaction to the Kefir Sherwood trade in terms of what the Canucks got. And I will highlight some of your comments right now, actually, before I move on to Adam Foote. I just got to return this one message, especially if I might actually sell some tickets here. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to return that message just in case it's a potential sale. Very, very important. So what was your first thoughts on the trade? He's more or less a contract to make the deal work. Talking about Cole Clayton. That makes sense. Thought the trade was decent and not a bad return. Sherwood also expecting baby sometime later this year, so that was part of the reason why the trade had to happen sooner. That's true. He did mention that. Second rounders are hidden gems. Good point. Canucks did fairly well in the Sherwood trade. Sucks to let him go, but there's no way they could keep him at the price he wants given their current situation. That's true. That's true. Decent second rounders. The choices for Canucks this draft is a good problem to have, despite no top centers. Malhotra's stock is going up. Edison is asking, is anyone at the game tomorrow? I know Edison is going. Tickets are cheap. Yeah, I'm actually selling my tickets a tiny bit cheaper. Coach Rob thought it was okay. Scotching effort, not bad a return. Kind of expected Canucks wouldn't be getting a first. Really turns out who we draft with the picks, but I'm glad. Well, I guess it matters who. It really matters how the trade turns out. It depends on who we draft with the picks. I get it, but I'm glad to get the picks instead of rebuilding. Lost a great culture guy. Great point. Felt shocked about the trade, but the best wishes to him. There's a lot of respect for him in Nashville and also here in Vancouver. Well said. Wasn't surprised he needed to be traded. Not a bad trade. Clay, would you rather get another 2026 first round and 2026 second round, or 22nd second round pick? Oh, I'd rather get another first rounder. Oh, sorry. Another first rounder versus 2 second rounders. I want a first rounder. But at least it's assets, right? Yeah, I sold a lot of tickets before the start of the season. It slowed down a little bit for sure. Should have kept my Blackhawks versus Canucks for March 6th with how bad the Canucks are, but I got a better game with the Blackhawks. No, that's good. Yeah, our team isn't the most entertaining to watch, for sure. If Sherwood was a type of player who's just having a career year, he's had, honestly 2 good years. It's hard to really get it first, but we didn't lose him for nothing. Yes, we got some assets. Yeah, I don't know about this. There's always rumors. EP40 is the sexiest rumor, for sure. Trading a first for Sherwood would be risky for our team, as there's no guarantee he would resign. Excellent, excellent point, Darren. Okay, let's now talk about Adam Foote's comments. So after the game, Adam Foote mention, despite a decent effort, he said the Canucks were good in the first period, and then things started to turn in the second. And he said something that the first part he said was something he's said before, is that kind of things get away from the Canucks, games get away from the Canucks once they face adversity. Once something bad happens, they are not the best at fighting through, sticking with the plan, and turning things around. But what was different about Adam Foote's press conference last night is he didn't single out a particular player, but he singled out the veterans as a whole. He says that they need to be better when things do not go well. They need to be better examples for the younger players, not slamming the bench doors, the gate, not sulking, better body language, better compete, not taking long shifts, not extending shifts, not trying to overcreate, as he said, because you take a long shift, you're tired, and then that just messes up the whole line rotation. And he just wanted them to be better leaders, especially in adversity. Now, again, he did not mention any veterans by name. What was also interesting, he said that this happened with some of the players that aren't here anymore. So really, he's talking about JT Miller and Quinn Hughes, because they were known to slam gates and slam sticks or whatever, because they're competitors, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So he kind of referenced to players that aren't here anymore. So that's, of course, Miller and Hughes. And he even said he noticed it before he took the job. For 10 games, he kind of really studied the players with Rick Tocchet. And he says that it was creeping in back then. Then he said that they got rid of some of those habits and some of those displays of whatever it may be, frustration. but then he says it's creeping in once again. So, again, he didn't name names, but the veterans on this team that have been around for a while are Petey, DeBrusque, Besser, Garland, Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers, Philip Hronik, and Thatcher Demko. Those are the veterans that I can kind of picture, off the top of my head. And I don't think he's talking about Philip Hronik, because Hronik has been the best player for the Canucks this season. And I'm not convinced he was talking about Evander Kane. While Evander Kane might show some emotion once in a while, last night he was the best Canucks forward. So I don't think it was Evander Kane that he was talking about. And admittedly, I haven't really seen, Kane might take a bad penalty here and there, but he's not the type. I don't see him like slamming doors or slamming sticks or whatever it may be. So what was noticeable about this, you guys, is Adam Foote's basically defended his guys, his players this entire season, right? He defends his players in the media. He doesn't make excuses for them, but he always is quick to point out all the injuries, all the adversity, how resilient they are, all these things. And that's good. That's kind of what you want in a coach, right? You want someone who's got your back, who is going to defend you. But it's not like he went full 180. It's not like he went heel on them last night, but it was the first time that he has called out his veterans that blatantly, saying that they need to be better. They need to be better examples, and they can't just start messing up anytime adversity hits. So I found that very, very interesting that he said that. And now what's really, really interesting is what's going to happen. What kind of effect will it make a difference for this Canucks team? Will we see a difference tomorrow when they host Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals? Will they be more united, or will they be even more frustrated if things do not go well? Will they tune Adam Foote out? Who knows? This is kind of interesting. But Adam Foote, I guess he didn't mind doing this, because look how far they just tied a record for most win the streak, or biggest losing streak, I should say, not win the streak. And that's not a record that you want to be a part of, right? And I think that Adam Foote's frustration kind of hit a boiling point last night. And even so, he wasn't yelling. He wasn't pointing at anyone in particular. But as a general comment, he talked about how he needs more from his veterans. So it was interesting to hear. I think a lot of people are defending isn't the right word, but they don't mind what they saw and what they heard from Foote last night, because he's tried the other tact, and really it hasn't got him and his team that far. All right, let me do my Mitchell sponsor read. Oh, last thing, and then we'll... Fillmore says Quinn throwing shade at the Canucks. Now he's in a better team, but his brother Luke out with a shoulder injury. Yeah, I did. And it was weird, right? He just kind of got yanked and he's out. I had no problem with what Quinn Hughes had to say. I had no problem with it, because, and we were talking about this at the game, me, Alfred, and Justin, is we, like fans collectively, not saying you guys, but fans claim that the NHL players don't show enough personality. But then when they do, such as Quinn Hughes, then some fans, they get upset or they get offended or they take it personally. And you're fine. Anyone's allowed to feel however they want. But I had no problem with what he said, because what he said was true. He's playing with better players now, and I'm sure hockey is more fun for him right now. Could he have phrased it a different way? Maybe. Could he have done it in a way where I don't know if he was throwing shade at the Canucks. I think he was just acknowledging that it was a tough situation. But I can't tell you how to react or how to feel about what he said, because that's why we're each allowed to have our opinions. And no, I have not watched any of the Canucks the Kachuk podcast just yet. Is it good? Is it really good? All right, let me do my Mitchell sponsor read, and then I'll get back to your questions and comments. I start off by thanking my primary sponsor. That's Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, Their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsors. The first one is Gassy Jack Art, creator of the wonderful artwork you see in my home studio. Check them out at gassyjackart.com. Thank you to Mulligan Golf Company, mlgngolf.com. Check them out for all your golfing apparel and accessories. And thanks to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Reminder of ways that you get involved today. You can subscribe to the channel, like the video, you can leave a donation, gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message, and if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and you can review. Also, thanks to everyone who has gifted a membership or donated. We had Carol gifting a membership. We had Skytrain Alfred donating. So Skytrain Alfred leads our leaderboard at 475, followed by Fangirl at 375, Simon at 125, Coach Rob at 100, and then a bunch of people tied with 75 points. And, shows this week. I will be doing a show tomorrow night, a post-game show, Canucks versus Capitals. Then I will not be doing a show on Thursday night as I'm watching Moulin Rouge. As you guys know, I'm a Broadway across Canada season ticket holder. So it's Moulin Rouge night. Don't stream Friday night, Saturday night, but I will do Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And that will be a recap of the Canucks Devils and then a look at the week that passed and a look at the week ahead. All right, let's go. Let's get to your questions. And we will, your questions and your comments. And I think we will start right here. I cheered seeing Montreal win with Caulfield scoring 15 seconds left with the Wild versus the Wild. Yes. Montreal beat Minnesota 4-3. By the way, Winnipeg won tonight. They beat the St. Louis Blues 3-1. So that means that we are 9 points back of them for last place. We have 37, they have 46. Oh, yeah, we're 9 points back of both St. Louis and Winnipeg. So St. Louis has entered the conversation, and they're only 1 point behind. So really, there's 5 teams at the bottom. Calgary and Chicago have 47. Winnipeg and St. Louis have 46. So there's 4 teams within a point, and then we are well clear of them at 37 points. Habs deserve to win with those refs on the ice. What does that mean? Was it bad? We have picks from Minnesota and San Jose, which means we have something meaningful to cheer against. It hurts seeing Quinn gone and happy he's playing, but I'm also over it that he's gone regardless of what he thinks. That's fair. Who's your favorite that has been here? My favorite Canuck of all time is Luongo. My favorite recent Canuck was Bo Horvat. And my favorite Canuck right now is Brock Besser. I want him to play better, though. If Foote's calling out tactics don't have an effect on the veterans, then he's probably lost the room. However, he does have a point that these behaviors are a bad example to the younger players. Yes, I agree with you that these behaviors are bad. He wants to nip it now. And yeah, I'm really interested to see what kind of response he gets from his players tomorrow. When Garland said the name of his daughter on After Hours, I know he said the middle was Juliet, but I'm not sure if I may have heard Maeve as the first name. Which one did you hear? I remember him talking about his daughters, but I can't remember the names. Maybe someone else knows for sure. Can you see Shanahan being brought in to replace JR when he retires? Not convinced. But I'm not sure how high or not high he is on Aquilini's list. So could I see it? Yeah. Do I think it's likely? Not sure. If the Canucks are telling vets staying on board means lean years ahead and we need you to help teach the rookies, do you see EP40 and Besser opting to stick around? Besser for sure. Besser for sure. EP40, and I wouldn't blame him. I don't know if he's as loyal to the city. Tonight, I'm drinking a Pepsi. Who do I think win? I want the Patriots to win for my Champions Pool, and I want the Seahawks to win. So let's go with a rematch of the Seahawks versus the Patriots. EP40, actually, well, Seahawks Broncos would be a rematch too. EP40 riding on McKenna's coattails might resurrect his younger years. Yeah? What's your opinion about that goalie fight? That was fun. Bobrovsky covered a lot of ground coming from the other end. Meet pressure with pressure. There was yes, I did see that. I did see that blown tripping call on yes. Yeah, Garland on After Hours was really, really good. Friedman says PD isn't going to waive or he hasn't been asked to waive. Yeah, that's true. These guys have all negotiated these no move contracts clauses, and it's their right because they negotiated them. Do you think in the future, do you think some of our goalies could get in a fight? No, I don't think Demko or Lankinen are fighters, and they're very rare goalie fights. Tampa Bay handled the Sharks pretty well, but that was a tough road trip for them. Yeah, the Sharks are a feisty team. Haven't they gotten in dust-ups with both Tampa and Florida? I hope Yrvin gets the say after JR is gone, but likely not, sadly. Gets the say. What do you mean? Just as speaking into all matters, you mean? PD's agent is livid regarding the rumors. Yeah, I'm sure they don't like those kind of things out there. People may not understand this, but not all NHL are obsessed with winning the Stanley Cup like we think. Not all NHL. What do you mean not all NHL? Do you mean teams or players or fans? Is there a word missing there? People might not understand this, but not all NHL are obsessed with winning the Stanley Cup. No, I did not watch the Linus Ullmark interview. Should I? What did he say? What did he say, Yrvin? Did he open up about why he was away from the team? Oh yeah, addresses his leave of absence from the Sens. So what did he say? Actually, let me just read this article real quick. Still a journey, mental health, trade, piling on, depression. Wow, that's a long answer. Okay, I'll have to read all this later. But yeah, he opened up why, and that it's stupid people said he had an affair and stuff, right? Because of all those salacious rumors coming out of Ottawa for sure. Without Bo Nix in the game and the broken ankle, does Denver have a chance? Not a good chance. Certainly not as good a chance if Bo Nix was in the lineup. I remember Ryan Miller sticking out for Troy Stecher in Toronto when Stecher was fighting Matt Martin. Yes. Do you think any of the players on this team are really competing? Not convinced some of the veterans have the hunger to win. I think Hronek's competing. I think Drew O'Connor's competing. I think Carlson, Sasson, Kane last night was competing. I think Vancouver and Buyam are competing. I think they're all competing. It's a matter of are they leaving it all out there? Bob's fight saved his fantasy numbers in my league because it's so rare. We have fighting major set for goalies to be 3 points. He would have been a minus 3.6 if he didn't get in the fight. How do you honestly feel about Rutherford saying he's okay with ugly hockey? Does he cheer when the opponent scores? Not insulted as a fan? Did Rutherford say he's okay with ugly hockey? I didn't read that quote. I think he was kind of intimating that he's okay with us going through growing pains for short-term pain for long-term gain. I don't think he's advocating for ugly hockey. He opened about leaving the team because of anxiety and panic attacks. He talks about how hurtful the rumors are. Okay, I will watch that. Powerful interview and how people get nasty online. Yes. It's entertainment first at some point, I would assume. Franchise that win, create legacies. If this whole Canucks roster was in Hunger Games, who would win? I'm trying to think of who's resourceful, who's merciless. I don't know. Is that Evander Kane? I don't know. Good question. People may not understand this, but not all NHL players are obsessed with winning the Stanley Cup. There we go. Thank you. Hi, Clay. How are you? I'm good. Harry, how are you? Who do you think we trade next? I think it'll be Evander Kane, but I think it'll be closer to Olympic break. Still another 3 weeks away. Kane competing because GM Doug Armstrong was in the building scouting the game. I think Foote's coaching isn't good. You're probably not the only one. Oh yeah, Garland is a Hunger Games finalist easily. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah, he is gritty. He's smart. He's cunning. He's intelligent, aggressive. Yeah, my Garland I think is a great vote. I don't mind it being ugly this year because we're getting the high draft pick is important. He said on Hockey Night. Thank you. Oh, good, Harry. You got Bruno Mars tickets. Awesome. Not Lucas Reichel. That question was brought Not Lucas Reichel. That question was brought, and everyone in the Blackhawks said Reichel wouldn't win for sure in the Hunger Games. That's really funny. Petey is missing in action. No, he was actually playing well up until the weekend games. Wasn't great against Edmonton. It was just okay last night. Hey, Japan 4. Unfortunately, some of our stars are in that category. What category is that Yrvin was talking about? Not obsessed with winning the cup. I used to play floor hockey as a center, defense goalie, left and right wing at Kensington. Nice. Yeah, have fun at the game tomorrow, Edison. When do you think some of our players are going to come back? I think Bluger might play tomorrow. And I think they're trying Hedo for sometime next week. Have you considered on going to Bruno Mars? I'm not sure what you're asking, but yes, we are going. We are going. EP4 will be the first eliminated. I thought we were talking about who's going to win, not who's first eliminated. No, this rumor stuff, it hasn't forced him to a hiatus? No. Not. Are you asking if PD's on hiatus because of the rumors? No. They don't care to win the cup, just want the bag. Score predictions for tomorrow's game. Washington 5-4. Washington 5-4. Can you see Reichel getting traded? I heard he was in the AHL until a trade happens. I think it was Dollywall. Yeah, but what are you going to get for him? Like, really? He's got no value right now. I also get the sense from Quinn Hughes' recent interviews that he wasn't happy being the most important player. Interesting. Is Hedo out for the whole season? No, he's skating. He's practicing. They're hoping that he joins the team, that he actually plays in a game next week. See edits. Yeah, I don't care about. I don't even know who ASAP Rocky is. What are the deadlines for player transactions? There's a roster freeze during the Olympics, and then the trade deadline is March 6th or something like that. For sure. I don't think the rebuild is going to take this long. I hope not. I think they're saying 2 or 3 years. I think it'll take 3 or 4. Ever notice that how Kane has put him almost every team he's been on to a rebuild? Well, I don't think it's his fault, but yes, he's played, well, except for Edmonton. They're not a rebuild, but yeah, he's played for Buffalo, played for Winnipeg. I think Foote's coaching is okay. Could be better, but it should in time. If DeBrusque gets traded, he's got a guaranteed contract that's expensive, so I don't think you even get a first for DeBrusque. Do you get a second? I don't know. Tough to see, right? I mean, tough to say. I don't think a team wants to give up first for Jake DeBrusque. If you're categorizing a full rebuild as, that we're contending regularly, if that takes 4 or 5 years, yeah, I think Rutherford's gone before that for sure. No, I don't think they're losing on purpose. They're just not very good, Simon. Winnipeg selected Liney at number 2. Buffalo selected Dahlin at number 1. San Jose got 3 lottery picks, all in and around the same time Vander Kane left those teams. Wow, that you can't really argue with that logic, though. I didn't realize Reichel was in the AHL. He's likely going to end up in the DHL next season. It's still baffling how Reichel was picked for the Olympics in the first round roster. Now, yes, he was one of the first 6, right? Do you think Rutherford retires before the practice facility is done? Yes, I do. Oh, thank you, Scotch and Alpha. Feb 4 to 22 is a roster freeze. March 6th is the trade deadline. I hope PD plays well against the Caps so that they can make a trade for him. I'd be happy to see him in DC. I'm disappointed, discouraged, losing acceptable, encouraged from the leadership. Sad. I don't feel any community connection with the players now who are loyal now. Yeah, that's true. And there was even the recent visit that they publicized to Children's Hospital. I think a lot of people were mentioning that PD and Hughes were not part of that group. Would I take McKenna or Stenberg in the draft? Right after the World Juniors, I would have said Stenberg, but I think I still take McKenna because of the higher ceiling. I saw a video about how the lottery did not exist in 1984 and the Penguins purposely tanked to select Mario Lemieux. Well, it worked. Have you ever been doing a live stream while big Canucks news breaks? Not really, Fangirl, because usually my streams are at 11 p.m. and they usually do their announcements either first thing, anytime during the day. It could be at 9 a.m., it could be at noon, it could be at 5 p.m., but I'm usually never streaming. The one time, though, that was interesting is on July 1st, we were recording a song about Eddie Lack and Kevin Bieksa, Boyz II Men, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. We were upstairs in Sean's room recording, and then they also traded Zach Cassian. So we called an audible, and we included Zach Cassian in our song as well. That was the one time I remember some big Canucks news happening while I was doing something, but it wasn't a live stream. It was recording one of our parody songs. If Foote is no longer coach for whatever reason, who would you put in the head coach for the rebuild? Pete DeBoer. Where's Pete DeBoer right now? I like Pete DeBoer. Pete DeBoer. Most recent. Yeah, I like Pete DeBoer. Besides Manny, gotcha. Super Mario, still one of your favorites. Definitely saved the Penguins from having to move. Promote one of the assistants. Is there any more players the Canucks would like to trade to the Blackhawks to give the Hawks another player in second round pick like they did with Mikheyev and also Dickinson? Whoever you want, Nick, take your pick. Take your pick. We'll just send it to you. Mahocha or Kevin Dean. We had Prime Cassian. I hate the current lottery system. It's dumb that we're on an 11-game losing streak and can lose the rest of the games and see and still. Yeah, but it's to. You still have the best odds though out of every team. It's just to prevent a team doing like we talked about what Pittsburgh did to get Lemieux. Toronto purposely tanked for Matthews. Thanks for the stream, Clay. It must be tough these days. No doubt about it. Appreciate your stream. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, it's actually not tough because the community here makes it worth it. There's always great people in here with thoughtful things to say. I just saw the roster very quickly earlier tonight. Toronto tanked for McDavid but missed, and then Austin. Gotcha. Alex Burrows to replace Foote. Does he have any desire to coach out here? Craig Hartsburg in Pittsburgh. Build a champ. Okay, I never thought about Hartsburg. Interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to go for a couple more minutes. Yeah, Burrows is in the Montreal system. Blackhawks are about to trade Dickinson. They might be trading Mikheyev. Interesting. Just don't trade them back to us, Nick. Don't trade them back to us. All right, friends, any other thoughts? Otherwise, is the PWHL the drafting position based on points after elimination from playoff contention? Yeah, I can't remember what the system is called, but I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by that for sure. For sure. Yeah, once a team is officially eliminated, then you count their points percentage from there. I have to read up about it. PWHL draft lottery rules. Let's see what it says here. Well, check this out. So this is, it's called the Gold Plan. I'll just show you this before we wind up here. I'm glad you brought it up, actually. The Gold Plan will assign the first pick to the non-playoff team that accrues the most points following its elimination from playoff contention. Once a team is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, it begins earning draft order points. The team with the most draft order points at the conclusion of the regular season will earn the first selection in each round of the draft. Interesting. So then that incentivizes a team that's eliminated from the playoffs to actually do better, not worse, but again, only once they are eliminated. Well, I blazed through the chat quickly because A, it's not the biggest stream tonight, and B, I cheated, right? I started at a point where was after my mid-show sponsor read. 2 items from Van Base, nice. If we get Gavin McKenna, who deserves the C? McKenna? No, I don't think you give it to him right away. Yes, and they go 3-2-1-0, I think. Yes, they have their own place. They bought it a couple years ago. They've been renting it out, so they have a place waiting for them in central Richmond. Yeah, the tank prevention system, the Gold Plan, that is the name. Golden Eyes, biggest trade in PWHL, 3 for 3. I saw that. Nursey's back. Tell a friend. Very good, you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm going to do a bit of work before I head out to my church hour at 1 a.m. But I appreciate all of your great questions. And I appreciate, your wife. Which game is that? Which game is that? That's awesome. Maybe she'll be the good luck charm. Maybe the Canucks won't win until she gets to that game. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, legendary Swervin Yrvin, and legendary Andrew Chang. Thank you for your support. And thanks to franchise and Hall of Fame members as well. Thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. You, on the way out, like the video, subscribe. You can leave a late donation. Thanks to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Gas Jug Art, and Mulligan Golf Company. And thanks to everyone who went above and beyond tonight. And that was Carol, who gifted a membership, and Skytrain Alfred with the donation. Add it all up, and Skytrain Alfred wins with 550 points. Fangirl second at 450. Simon third at 175. Coach Rob fourth at 100. And a bunch of you tied at 75 points. Appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys being here. I'm not at the game tomorrow, but I still am selling tickets. So if you're interested in very cheap, basically selling them for my cost, email me, canuckclay@gmail.com. Again, canuckclay@gmail.com. And I will reply either tonight or sometime tomorrow. And yes, I'll be back here tomorrow night at 11 p.m. For my post-game live stream. We'll see if the Canucks have it in them to knock off Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. So thanks everyone for being here. You're awesome. I'm awesome. We are all awesome. And I'll see you tomorrow night at 11 p.m. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. By the way, I was today. Let's start this again. Is a joke, so I don't have to make it so realistic. I bought an expensive car today. Yes, I bought a new car, only to find that the reverse gear is broken. The reverse gear on my new car is broken. There's just no going back now. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.